Good morning once again. So welcome to our subject, FINLYTS K32. Today we're going to start our discussion on the importance of using a particular software, R, and an IDE, an integrated development environment, in making use of the software. There are many softwares available in the market. You have even Excel, you have Stata, you have SPSS. But personally, nothing comes close in comparison to the use of R and RStudio. First, R is a freeware, so you don't have to cough some amount to access the software. It's free. Okay. Secondly, because it's free, a community has been developed in creating packages or add-in software, add-in packages to R and RStudio, making it a very robust software. There are other softwares like Python, which competes with R. But for me, for econometrics or statistical endeavors or projects, R and RStudio uh, is the main tool. So we are in good hands if we learn this. Of course, there's a software war going on now. Okay, there's R versus Python. R was developed actually by statisticians, while Python by computer scientists. So there is quite a difference in how it's used in the coding. Admittedly, Python seems to be easier to code. Okay, but I think R has it has since uh, it has a well-developed community. The applications are really more diverse and it's more widespread and it's really more universal. So uh, Python versus R, there's a debate about it. For me, you have to learn both. Okay, as finance students, it's important that you learn both R and Python. However, I think it's better to learn R first. My experience is that I learned R first, and it was easier for me to migrate to Python. So I know both, but I prefer, as I said, teaching R first because later on students find it easier to learn Python on their own. Okay. So on the other hand, if the order was the reverse, you learn Python first, then it's quite more difficult for you to learn R the next time. So we are in a good process now. We learn R first and RStudio, and then later on, hopefully in this subject we can also have an introduction to Python. Okay, but R in itself for this financial analytics is more than sufficient. Okay, so there are many materials here, okay, which you can use. R for beginners. This is by Paradis, and then I'll show you in a while why R Markdown is the document that we're going to use uh, for this subject. Okay, how to install R and RStudio. There's this instruction manual here. R Markdown tutorial. So you're not uh, you're not left alone in learning R and RStudio. So if you were not able to read through this, your assignment is to spend some time this weekend, navigate through this, learn some facts and details about R and RStudio, and then so that by Tuesday when we meet face to face, and I suggest you also bring your computers, we are able to really learn more about R and RStudio. Okay? Do I have your commitment, class, for you to at least view these videos 1.7, 1.9, 1.11, 1.12? You will have to invest around maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours to 4 hours. Don't have to watch everything at once. For example, you watch this. I'm not sure how many minutes this is, maybe 60 minutes. And then this one, okay. In particular, please make use of please really watch 1.11 and 1.12, okay. You're going to use this file in following 1.11 and 1.12. Okay, so may I have your response, class? Do I have your commitment to do your part? Watch, of course. For those of you who are already knowledgeable about R and RStudio, you don't have to do that. Okay, but for the rest, most of you, 99%, I think, do I have your commitment for you to take responsibility for the initial learnings about R and RStudio? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, let's wait for the others to answer. Okay, it's not that I want to make it difficult for yourself. It's that you will benefit from this. Okay. So maybe you can deprive yourself of watching Netflix this weekend and watch the videos instead and try to follow along and using the file. You'll be glad you did, class, because you'll acquire more comfortable. You'll be more comfortable navigating through R and RStudio. Okay, let's first review how to sorry, how to uh, install R. For those of you who haven't installed R, just go to Google and type CRAN. Okay, so CRAN stands for Comprehensive R Archive Network, and this is the first listing here in Google here. CRAN, the Comprehensive R Archive Network. So if you click this, you'll be brought to this site. Let me just, okay, so this is your CRAN, Comprehensive R Archive Network. All right. So here, download and install R. It depends on your machine. If you're using Linux operating system or if you are using Mac or Windows, then please download accordingly. Okay. So we will, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page, we will give those who haven't installed R and RStudio, there were around 10, a few seconds to please do that. And let's wait for them to chat in the chat box if they have been able to download the R. Okay, let me also share this in the chat box, Control C, because I'm going to post also the chats in the chat box for your reference later on also. Okay, so that's the site. Once you're done installing R, okay, kindly please chat so that we know that I'm counting around 10 or 11 students who have not installed R. It will take you a few seconds, maybe a minute. So let's just pause for a while and wait for your classmates. I'm going to pause the recording for a while, and then please remind me to continue recording it. Okay, so let's wait for your classmates to install R. This is the icon for R. If I open R, you can see that, okay, this is R. This is R. So you can write your codes here. Okay, for example, I can write 3 to the 100th power, Control Enter, and it gives us quickly the mathematical answer. It's 5.153 times 10 to the 47th power. Okay, so you can create several codes here. Okay, you can even, later on, I'm going to explain this. So there's a function called summary, okay? And R is equipped with data sets. One of the data sets is cars. So if I type summary cars, okay, we're asking R to get some statistical summaries of the data which comes prepackaged with R, which means it's installed with R, called cars. If I run this, you can now see that, okay, you have here, so this file cars has two variables in it, speed and distance. And the summary function will give us the actually it's 6 number summaries, descriptive statistics of the variables that are included there, which are speed, So you have here minimum, first quartile, second quartile, which is also the median, third quartile, and the maximum and the mean. Okay, so you have here first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, and the minimum and the maximum, and also the average. Same thing for the distance. So you can see here that R uh, is a software that can do a lot of statistical processes. Okay, I'm just scratching the surface here. We can also use R to plot. Here I'm using plot. And there's also another object in R. There's another file that comes prepackaged with R called pressure. Okay, so let me ask R to plot pressure. Okay, if I do this, for those of you who already have installed R, you may also copy what I'm doing. Okay, and here we have a plot of the pressure file, pressure object. Okay, and you can see here on the x-axis is temperature, and on the y-axis is pressure. So apparently this file pressure has two variables, pressure and temperature, and it gave us a plot of the variable. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so back to this. So R can do lots of statistical computations. It can do lots of mathematical computations. It's actually a giant computer, technically. Okay, however, the interface is not that good. Okay, hindi maganda yung interface. Okay, so that's one of the weakness of R. Not for its prowess, not for its power, but for its utility, its usability. It's quite difficult to navigate through this and work your way with codes, with financial processes using R. It's not really it's not user friendly, to say the least. Okay, all right. So let me pause for a while. How about those who have not installed R? Kindly chat, please. I'm waiting for you to chat if you have already installed it. Those of you who told me that you have not installed it, there were 10 or 11 students. Hello, class. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lance. Please direct your answer to everyone. Okay, only Lance has replied. How about the others? Please respond, class. If you have problems doing it now because of some technical problems, please answer also, so that I know, so that we won't keep on waiting and waste time waiting for you. Are you encountering problems? Hello? Okay. What's the meaning of none? I'm asking. This is a question for those who haven't installed R. Okay. What's the meaning of none? Cecile, what do you mean by none?
No problems or questions, sir.
So you have already installed it
Yes, sir.
just now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, let me clarify. I'm asking those who have. So let me repeat my question. Okay, there were some of you who said that you haven't installed R. Okay, we're giving you now the chance to install R. Okay, so far only Lance has replied that he has done so. There's another one who said that he can't download it now because of laptop problems. That's okay. At least we know. Okay, how about the others? We'd like to know, please. If you're not able to do so, then please just tell us or tell me, so that I won't keep on waiting and I'll move forward. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Cecilia. Okay. Okay, thank you, Victoria. Thank you for that information. Okay, some of you are having problems. It's okay, class. No problem with that. Okay, shut down. Jessica, thank you. Sige. All right. So a few more seconds. So some of you are not able to install now. That's okay. But please make sure that to address whatever problems you're encountering during the weekend, so that by next week when we meet in class, then you should be able to uh, when you if, hopefully you're able to bring your computers, and you should have already R and RStudio installed. Okay, so let's continue. Next thing, class. So we have already installed R. For those of you who are able to install R, the next thing to do is to install RStudio. So how do we install RStudio? You can Google it, RStudio download. Okay, RStudio download, and it will bring you to this. Post it. Okay, this is the new name of RStudio. Okay, let me open this. And then, by the way, you can only install RStudio if you have already installed R. Okay, so first install R and then RStudio. Okay, so that's why it says here install R first. Number one. Okay, you cannot install RStudio without installing R. Now, why is that so? Because RStudio, class, is an IDE. Okay, take note of this, IDE, this one. What's an IDE? Integrated Development Environment, which means it's a software that was developed in order to help navigate through the base software, which is R, better. Okay, now you might be wondering, why did it change its name to POSIT? Okay, because now RStudio can also be used as an IDE for Python. Take a look at this. Set of tools built to help to be more productive with R and Python. And precisely so. This is very true. Okay, actually I never used R. I never used R directly. Okay, because the interface is really so it's not helpful. Okay, the utility is not that high. But I use RStudio because it it's a better tool. Okay, let me clarify myself. Of course, RStudio will not run without R. It's a better interface. That's what I meant. So after you install R, then install RStudio. So for those of you who just installed R now, please install. Okay, so depending on your machine, if it's go down below. Mostly, I'm pretty sure that you're either using your PC or your laptop or your Mac. Okay, so you know what to download. Okay, so all right, once you have downloaded it. Okay, so once again, let's give our classmates a few seconds to download. And once you're done, okay, once you're done, kindly chat again so that we know that you have downloaded RStudio. Okay, so while your other classmates are downloading RStudio, now this is the icon for. So please create a shortcut icon in the sorry, I forgot the name. This one, but the icon is this one. It's quite different from R. So this is RStudio. This is R. Okay. So let me close a taskbar. Yeah, thank you, Angela. Sorry, I forgot the name. Taskbar. Thank you, Angela. Okay, yeah, thank you, Cecilia, for informing us that you have already installed it. Good. Hindi, si Cecilia pala, yung ano to, no? Hindi, ano na to, RStudio na. Who was the other one who was able to, let's just make sure that we try to make as much as possible everybody included in the discussion. Because if they're not able to install RStudio, then they won't be able to follow the discussion. Okay, Lance, were you able to install RStudio? Because we're going to use that now. Okay, good. All right. So, yeah, taskbar nga pala to, no? All right, so make sure that you create a shortcut for RStudio in the taskbar. All right, so here, class, you have here your R. Okay, let me close this first. Okay, if you open R, okay, uh, let me nag-open siya ng bagong ano, no? Dali, class, ha? This is what you're supposed to see. Okay, so we might have different interfaces. Okay, could I have a chat, please? What's the difference between my interface and your interface? Could you kindly comment, class? Comment, please, on the difference between what you're seeing on screen, my RStudio interface, and your interface. Okay, Angela, thank you. White? Okay, please share your answer to everyone. How about the others, please? Ano yung difference? What's the difference between what you see? Console is at the bottom. Okay, good. Thank you, Rain Ann. Rain says the console is at the bottom. Also with Francis. Okay, interchange yung positions ng console and environment. Yes, good. Okay, any other difference? Interface, the color, the appearance is different. The position of the okay, Angela, also the window is only divided by 3 and not 4. Okay, that's good. Okay, so according to Lance, 4 quadrants also, but for Angela, there are only 3. We will discuss that. Okay, actually there are 4 quadrants, and the reason why you're only seeing 3 is that the other quadrant is hidden. Okay, so let's discuss those things that you commented on. Thank you so much for your comments. I really appreciate that. But I hope more next time will participate in the discussion. Okay, take a look at this interface. So you see that RStudio it's quite different from the interface of R. Okay, and I think you'll agree with me that the interface of RStudio is a lot better than the interface of R. There are 4 useful panes here, window panes, that we may use as far as RStudio is concerned. All right, so there are 4 window panes. You have here this is called the source window or the script window. Okay, source, and then here we have the environment and console, and then the files, plots, packages. So let's first address the one where there are only 3. So let me stop share. And is it okay, Angela, for you to share your screen? You may share your screen para we can address that.
Okay lang po.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Okay, good. So dito, you can see, class, that Angela has only 3 window panes, no? Console, and then console on the left, environment on the right, upper right, and files, plots, packages on the right. Okay, so there are actually 4 window panes here. So, okay, can you see yung tools, Angela, sa mga tabs sa Mac? Nasa bandang right side.
Nakita ko na po, sir.
So please click tools.
Sir,
Okay.
share ko na lang po yung buong window. Ay,
Sige,
buong
sige.
screen na lang po. Ayan po.
Okay. So, although dito hindi ko makita yung tools, ano, but on the upper tabs class, you can see their tools there. So, Angela, click that, and then there are several ways to do this class, no? So let's just start with one way. Sa below Angela, you can see global options. So go there, there. Okay. So what did Angela click? Angela went to a tab, tools, and then global options. And then on the on the left side here, you can see several tabs: general, code, console, appearance, and then there's this pane layout. Okay, Angela, please go to the pane layout there. Okay, so this is Angela's uh, how Angela's okay, sorry, I'm addressing a different thing. But anyway, so let's first address the position of the pane layout. So you can see here that the default in RStudio is the source is at the upper left, the console is at the lower left, the environment is at the upper right, and the files at the lower right. So for me, I prefer the console to be on the upper right for reasons I'll discuss in a while. So you can change that easily so you can go to environment, Angela, go to the environment, and there's this drop-down list there on the upper right, upper. Please click that, not that, this one, what do you call this? This drop-down, the arrow down. No. Arrow down. Dun sa tab na yan, environment history there. May tab siya on the right. No, on the
Ito
right.
po.
No.
Ay, sorry, sir.
It's okay. Environment, yan, may tab siya. There, that one. Okay? So click, what do you want to put there? Naka-click kasi yung sa environment. So click console. There. So console will now be transferred to that side, and then environment will be on the low side. Okay? All right. So kindly type OK. Okay. So you now can see that the source is on the upper left. The console is now on the upper right. And then na-address na rin yung environment sa ilalim, ano? It can now be seen. Okay. Thank you, Angela. So thank you. Let me share my screen. So in the course of our discussion class, if you have questions, please do what Angela did. Question kagad, no? And the others also. If you have any concerns, please immediately ask question so that we can address it. Do not let the discussion continue without you asking the question. Please do not be ashamed, class. All right, so let me address the other one. Sometimes, class, your window will look like this. There. It looks like that. It looks like there are only 3 windows. Okay, actually there are 4. Kasi if you take a look at this tab below here, okay, you can see that there's this environment here. So you can just click this so that it reappears. Okay, so there are minimize, maximize bars there. Okay, there. Sometimes you might want to really have a bigger space for the source window. Okay, then you can, the size is adjustable. Okay, per column. So it's very easy to navigate through that. Okay, so any questions about the position of the window panes? And by the way, another way to do that is you go here. Plus the shortcut is actually here. Okay, if you take a look at this, this is like a 4-tiered window. If you click this one, and then show all panes here. Okay, so that's the shortcut. If you have, for example, this one, if one of the panes is hidden, okay, and sometimes it might be difficult to adjust this, just go here, class, here, show all panes there, and it will show all the 4 panes. You can also do it this way, class, here, view, here, show other panes, just click this. Okay, so let me hide this again. Okay, view. Okay, then let me see. Here, I think it's this one. Wait, no. Up here pala, sorry. Panes, show all panes here, class. Or the shortcut is Alt, Control, Shift, 0. For Mac, I think it's Alt, Command, Shift, 0. So that's a shortcut if you're a keyboard warrior, and you can just press Alt, Control, Shift, 0. Then that will show all panes. Okay. So let me try that. Alt, Control, Shift, 0. There. It showed all the panes. Alt, Control, Shift, 0. Okay, so far, class, clear? Are we discussing this? Am I doing this? Am I discussing the lesson with a proper pace? Or am I going fast or am I going too slow? May I have your feedback, please? Is my pace okay? Is our pace okay? Okay, thank you. Sometimes, class, I will need to ask this question because sometimes others might be ashamed to ask or request me to slow down because I might be discussing things very, very rapidly. So that's why allow me to ask this question, okay? And please respond. Okay, so I think so far, all good. Thank you so much. I appreciate your feedback. Okay, so what's next, class? Okay, if you take a look at the tabs here, so you have file, edit, code, okay, view, plots. So far we have looked at tools. Okay, let's take a look at tools again. Tools. So what do you find here? Later on, we're going to install packages. You can use this, install packages. Packages are add-ins to R. Okay, so imagine when R was first developed, there were only a few, there were not so many tools that were available. Okay, but because it was freeware, it was available to everybody. So people began developing uh, their own codes, their own functions, and contributed to R. So people from social sciences, psychology, sociology, they would contribute their own codes to make the statistical process of in philosophy, psychology, sociology easier. Then also in chemistry, in physics, and mathematics, so many fields class contributed it, making the R community a very robust community. In finance also, and it was made available to everybody. So everybody could just tap into that well mine of a resource and use it for their own purposes. Okay, so that's what the packages are all about. So we're going to look at that. And then let's go to global options. Okay, so here you can see, okay, you can see here the R version that I have installed. So this is the latest one, 4.3.2. So if you want to change this, you can change this. For example, it's not the latest. You can see here the latest, okay? This is the latest already, so no need for me to update it. If your R is not updated, then you can check that, and then you can choose that and then install or update. It will update. Okay, so cancel ko na to. All right. Then there are some things here that I want you to remember. Anyway, I'm going to share this screen with you. Now, the default is usually this one. It's clicked, okay? Now, this has its pros and cons. Okay, the pros of this is that every time you open RStudio, what you were working on before would automatically open, okay? So there's an advantage to that in the sense that if you want to continue what you were working on, then go ahead, okay? But sometimes you might wish to work on another file, and that becomes quite unwieldy or cumbersome. So for me, for my purpose, I would just like to click this, unclick this, so that when I open R, it will open a new and a fresh RStudio. Okay. But if you're working on a particular project and you want that every time you open R, it it goes back to that project, then you can leave this unchecked. Check. Okay. So for me, I'll just leave this unclicked. Okay. Right. So let me. So that's general, and here is pane layout, what we discussed a while ago. And another thing, class, you notice that there's Python here. So which means that RStudio, with RStudio, you can already work with Python. Okay, so that's a very, very important innovation. That's why I think that's the reason why they named it as POSIT now in Ibananila. They changed it. So let's go here, class, to appearance, because there was one question a while ago why my interface, my windows were blue, while theirs was black. So you can see here, there are only actually two themes here, modern and sky. Okay, I haven't really explored what sky is. Okay, I think it's more on the coloring, but you can explore that, class. Zoom for me, sometimes I make this 110% to make the zoom bigger. But let me just make it now 100. And then you can choose the font. You can explore what font you want. So I'm using what I prefer, which is Lucida. Okay. Again, it's really up to you. And then editor font size, I prefer to make it big, 18. You can, of course, increase it from 7 to 36. Okay. If I make it 24, you can see that it really increased. But sometimes it will occupy so much space, so I'm just using 18. And I usually ask my class if you can see it. I think you can see the font, the screen. Okay. Then this is the editor theme. You have ambience, which is dark. Chaos is also dark. Chrome is white. I think this is this is the default. So this is what appears in your screens. Okay. If you want to have the color that I'm using this cobalt. Okay. You can use clouds if you want. Clouds midnight. I'm using cobalt. For me, it's easier on the eyes. Okay. But again, it's a matter of preference. So I leave you to choose. There are lots of editor themes that you may choose. Okay. So once you have adjusted the settings, just press OK. All right. Okay. May I have a show of hands, please? Who among you adjusted to Cobalt or any other font adjustments, and you were able to see the difference? May I have a show of hands, please? I-chat na lang, class. Okay, good, good. Okay, thank you for your comments. Some adjusted to Cobalt because they preferred it. Good, thank you. All right, so depending on how you adjusted, then it's actually a matter of personal preference. Okay, all right, so let's continue our discussion. Okay, so when you open RStudio, okay, you can see here that the first tab here is File. Okay, under it, you can see here the plus sign. And these are the documents that you can create from RStudio. Here, you have R script, Quarto document, Quarto presentation, R notebook, R markdown, Shiny web app. You can create apps using RStudio. Plumber API, I haven't used this. You can create a text file, a C++ file, a Python script, etc. And here you have RSweave. You have also SQL, by the way, SQL. structured query language script. This is used for data mining. Okay, R HTML and R documentation. So different types of documents here that you can create. All right. So if I want to create, for example, the first document here is an R script. Okay. So let's create an R script, which is actually this one class. This is an R script, but let's nevertheless still create it. So you can click this, or you can try Control Shift N. Okay, for Mac, I think it will be Command Shift N. So Control Shift N, let me do that. And notice now that, okay, nagdalawa pa nga yung sa akin, no? All right, I have now another script here. This was the one I had a while ago. Okay, here. Okay, by the way, when you open R, you will have this immediately. R version 4.3.2, which is, it has names, no? I holes. Okay, so the next version, which might come after 3 months, okay, we'll have another name. Okay, so this is just some information about R. So I normally would want to sweep this. This is the symbol for sweep or clean this, so that I have a clean console. Okay, now let's understand the reason why I'm putting console on the upper right. So let's create, just like R class, we're now using an R script. Just like R, we can create a mathematical equation here. For example, 3 raised to the 5th power plus 23 minus 62, okay, plus square root of 45, okay? So you can see this relatively short mathematical equation. Okay, 3 raised to the 5th power plus 23 minus 62 plus square root of 45. Okay, you can put, of course, parentheses there. Okay, let's put parentheses here so that making it more complex. And of course, R will make use of the PEMDAS principle. It will first evaluate this and then evaluate the others. Okay, so how do we run this? You can click run, this one, or you can click Control Enter. Control Enter, there. So what happened? Okay, can you kindly chat what happened to the code that we wrote? Okay, you can follow along, or you can create, of course, your own code. What do you notice, class? It's solved. Okay, thank you, Julian. Gave the answer. Okay. And any other thing? It solved it. Where did it give the answer? Where was the answer written? Yes, thank you, Rain Ann. It was written in the console. Okay, thank you, Francis. Thank you. Console. Yes, any other thing that was written in the console, class? Any other thing that was written in the console? One, yes. Aside from one, yeah, thank you. The formula. Thank you, Kathleen. Okay, thank you, Rain Ann. Okay, so the formula. Notice that the code that we wrote here, class, was written in the console. So when you have several codes already, class, so let's say your codes are already reaching this, you know what happens to your space? Okay, if your console was here, your console space becomes limited also, because now the source is occupying it. Okay, so that's the most practical reason why I prefer the console on the upper right, because I can see. Okay, I can see immediately, instead of having to scroll down again and then compare it with the source window. Okay, here immediately I can see the code and the result. Okay, so it's just like reading in one line, one horizontal line. Okay, so when we write a code remember, this is an R script class. No? What kind of a document is this? R script. Okay, this is an R script. So so notice, class, I'm writing a text here. I'm writing a text in the R script. If I press Okay, can you still hear me, class? I think I'm having problems with my.
Okay lang po, sir.
Okay,
Marinig po.
sige. Okay, thank you. Because sometimes my internet becomes weak and I get a message that unstable yung internet ko. Okay, so what happens if we write our script and then control enter? All right, you notice what happens? It repeated the code, our script, but error. The result is error, our script not found. Okay, because our script is not a function. It's a text. It's a text. So R does not know what am I going to do with this text. Okay, so can you write a function in R, 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 I'm sorry, R script? Yes. So for example, log. Okay, let's tackle this log 25. Okay, what's log 25? We got 3.22. Okay, I hope you got 3.22 class. Okay, now let me ask you one thing. Can you please chat? Okay, can you please chat here? Okay, everyone, please. Please either use Excel or use your calculator and get log 25. So this is another important thing as far as finance is concerned. We have to know some basic mathematical expressions. Okay, what do you get, class? If you're using Excel, okay. So you're getting a different answer, no? So why? Di ba log 25 class, why are we getting, in your case, you got 1.398. But in my case, here, in Excel, in R, I'm getting 3.22. So is R wrong here? Or is Excel wrong? What do you think is the answer, class? It's a big difference. It's almost 2. And we know, class, that mathematics is precise. Log of 25 cannot be both 3.2 and 1.39. Definitely, you'll agree with me that it cannot be both. The two answers cannot be both correct. So can you tell me, class, why they're different? Okay, the answer is in the syntax of log in Excel, in R, I mean. So let's type again log. Okay, once you type log, class, there's an IntelliSense that appears. Let me type log, and notice that the available functions in R that start with log, you can find here. Log, log 10, log 1p, log 2, log b, logical. Okay, all functions that are available for use in R appears here below. It's called an IntelliSense. In fact, meron pa yan, no? Log like, log lin, and here logic. Okay, and you can see here curly brackets, base, 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 base. Here is stats, stats. Now, it means that this function log comes from the base, it comes from the base R. It means that you don't need any other package to install in order to make use of this. Okay, it's pre-installed with R. There are some functions that you cannot use without installing a particular package. Okay, you have to install that package first before you can access that function. Okay, so we'll learn more about that in the future. All right, so take a look at this. If I hover around this, class, it gives us information about the function log. So here it says log x, comma, base is equal to exponential 1. So therein lies the difference. Remember when you learned log in high school or in elementary, wherever, okay, log is always based on a particular base. So the usual is log base 10. Okay, so that's what we learned before, because base 10 is easier to manipulate. So that's what Excel uses. That's what your calculator uses. Now, if you want to use another base, okay, you'll have to make use of a different syntax in Excel. But in R, since most of the computations used for log makes use of exponential as the base, then they made the base equal to exponential 1. Okay, exponential 1, okay, may I have a show of hands, please, class? Who among you know what E is, or exponential 1? Do you know the value of E? Who among you have encountered the number E? Okay, E as a number, okay? Please chat, please, yes or no, please. It's okay if no. What's important is our honesty here, so that I can, okay, Angela, thank you. How about the others, please? Who among you have met the number E? Because if you know already, I'm not going to discuss it. But if not, you have to tell me, so that I have to discuss. E class, E, letter E. Okay, no, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you. Okay, good, good. Thank you, class. I was waiting for your answers. Good. Okay, so let me discuss, class. Let me discuss. All right. So let me finish this first. Actually, the long code here in R is log 25, and then to complete it, you have to write the base. Base is equal to, so the default is exp raised to the first power. So this is the complete code, okay? But notice that here we did not write it, because since this is the default, even if you don't write it, then R will know already that base is e to the first, okay? So if I run this, okay, I'm getting the same answer, 3.218876, okay? But if I change the base, for example, log 25, and base is equal to 10. Okay, what do you get for this one, class? Log 25 base 10. Answer, please. Did you get the same answer? Same na lang or no? Yes or no na lang? Is it the same as the one in Excel? Yes, yes. Okay, good, good. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So it means that there's no conflict actually. There's no conflict between the result of R and Excel. R uses a base equal to E. Excel uses, or calculators use a base equal to 10. Okay. So actually in your calculators or in Excel, what you use is ln. Okay, because E actually in math they defined it as natural logarithm. Okay, and natural logarithm takes the log of a number based on E. So if I press this one, control enter, again it generates an error because R does not understand what in the world is ln. So if you want to write a text in R script, can you do that? Yes. You have to write the hashtag there. Okay? For example, R script and then ln. So this I place these two texts together and I placed hashtag there. Control enter. Okay. All right. It did not generate an error. It did not copy the code because it's not actually a code. It's more of a comment. Okay, we call this a comment it's a comment. So you can use this later on when we learn how to learn how to code. You can write comments and you can write hashtag and R will treat this as a comment. It will not run that code. Okay. It will consider it just as a text that's used to comment on whatever you're doing. Okay, so back to my question. What's E class? EXP. So that means E to the first power. If I write 2 here, that means E squared. If I write 3, E to the third power. E to the 1 means it's E. E to the first or E. Okay, if we run this, so there. So this is 2.718282, etc. It was just truncated into 6 digits. However, class, E actually Have you heard of the golden ratio? This is an interesting ratio. Again, kindly chat please if you have heard of the golden ratio. Okay, no, thank you. May yes o nakita. Okay, no, okay, thank you. All right, yes, some of you yes, some of you no. Okay, I'd like to encourage you to look at this, no? Look at the golden ratio, not in this subject, but it makes use of E is prominent there, class. There, E is the leading character because the golden ratio is specified by E. Okay. All right. And also, uh, what do you think is what do you think is the cousin of E, class? Any number you think is the cousin of E? Okay, I see a chat here. Yes, thank you, Francis. It's pi. Correct. It's pi. Now, maybe in your high school or elementary, you learned that pi is approximately 3.14. But actually, pi and E are cousins in the sense that, why are they cousins? Can you tell me why, class? They are what kind of numbers? It starts with I. Okay. Yes, thank you, Eliza. You're correct. They're irrational numbers, which means they're non-terminating, non-repeating. Okay. Any number that can be expressed as A over B, okay, any number that can be expressed as A divided by B, okay. Ano nangyari sa ba't naging okay, okay. Nag-error daw yung den ratio ko. Okay, anyway, so A over B, and notice class this one. If I put this 5 divided by 4, okay, control enter, ba't nag-den ratio dito? Okay, ano ko nga muna. Let me, this one, 5 divided by 4. Why is it going back to den ratio? Okay, anyway, so let me just ignore that first. It's going back to a previous function. Okay, as I was saying, yung E and pi are transcendental numbers or irrational numbers. They're not repeating, they're not terminating. They're not non-repeating, non-terminating. Okay, we'll get to meet this, especially log plus and E, when you get to the actual topic of in analytics. All right, so that's a brief introduction about our script. There's another one here. So let's open this R Markdown. So kindly open this R Markdown. And we have a few more minutes to discuss this. Okay. Here, class. When you open R Markdown, what do you see? There's this window here that opens, and take a look at this new R Markdown. So you can do a document, a presentation, Shiny, which is for creating websites, and then from template. Okay, you can create other types of documents using R Markdown. For our purpose, we're going to first create a document. So actually, class, when you're presenting in a technical subject where you need computation, it will be good to use R Markdown for your presentation instead of a PowerPoint. Kasi ang PowerPoint, mahirap, there's no linkage with Excel. Okay, your computation will be in Excel, just copy paste your computation in PowerPoint. Here, you can use your R Markdown itself, okay, and convert it into a presentation, and then whatever computation appears there will appear also in your presentation. Okay, so here, class, let me just make it a trial here. Name it trial. Okay, author name, you can put your name, and then take note of this one. So you can write the date here. So you can put January 11, 2024. However, there's a disadvantage to that. For me, I prefer clicking this. Okay, I click that. Use current date when rendering document. Okay, but before that, let me click this first and show the difference. Okay, so here I made this January 11, 2024, and then you have options here: HTML, PDF, Word. You can convert your R Markdown file into an URL file, HTML, or a PDF file or a Word file. So let's click. So we're creating a document. The name is trial. Okay, so let's click OK here. Okay, so take a look at this class. So the title is trial, the name Bobby, the date here, and the output is an HTML document. If we had clicked PDF, then it would have appeared the PDF document here. Notice that the interface is quite different from the R script. So the R Markdown is quite different, a lot different from the R script. Okay, so let me close this and show you the difference. Close this. Okay, and then let me open another R Markdown here. Okay, again, let me rename this trial. This time I click this. There. Use current date when rendering the document. It means that suppose you were working on the document for several days already. If this is not clicked, the January 11 would have been retained. But if you click this, okay, then every time the current date, when you print the document, will be the date that will be printed. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, then you see. Now take note of this. It's no longer the date, but it's actually a code R. Okay, sys.date open and close parentheses. This means system's date. So it takes a look at the at your computer and determines ano yung what's the current date of the computer, so that when you print this later on, it adjusts to the date of the computer. So if you were printing this on January 30, then it will say date January 30. Now, unless you want the date to be January 11, then do the other way. Okay. Now, quickly, class, let me just point out something. I'm running out of time. Okay. So take a look at this, class. Now, notice. Okay, take a look at this. You have here backticks and then backticks. Okay, and then you have, this is strange, R cars and then summary cars. You notice that this is the one that we that we did a while ago. Okay, let's go back to our this one, to our R script. And why don't I put here summary cars, the one that we did for R. Okay, and also, okay, so control enter there. And you notice, class, that what we did in R a while ago, we were able to also do here in R script. Okay, it copied the code and then it generated the speed and the distance, same thing as the R code, as the R itself. Okay, it's almost time, class. May I have, this is a bit advanced. May I have just 3 minutes, class, just to end this with your permission? But if you need to go, you may do so. Okay, if you need to go, class, you may do so. I'll just extend a little bit, just a few minutes. And then also the other one, which was plot the pressure, run it. Okay, now there's a message here. It says it cannot plot because the margin is too small. So what I have to do is to increase. It says there that the margin, the space was too small. Figure margins too large. It means, because a while ago this was the appearance of my window. So the plot pressure which is supposed to plot the pressure. Okay, so let me increase the size of the plot, and then once again run this. And the same thing, class, as in R. So whatever we can do in R, we can do in RStudio. No problem about that, class. And of course, you will agree with me that this is a lot better compared to the interface of of R as compared to RStudio. Okay, and lastly, I just like to point this out, class. In R Markdown, there's a bit of difference, class. You notice that if I put here, the code is written here in the code chunk. So let me, this will be my last discussion. Let me just show you how to write this code chunk. So just write first the backticks, okay? Then write, then write curly brackets, and then type R, okay? And then space, and then, all right. So you notice that I wrote this backticks, and then backticks here, and then here R, okay? So that's what we call a code chunk. And it's where you write your codes. So you can run this now. How do you run this? Also Control Enter, or you can click this button here, this triangle here. Okay. And then you can see here that the answers were generated here in the console, but it was also generated here in the source window. That doesn't happen in our script, but it does happen in your R Markdown. Okay, so let me stop recording now.